Hey guys, Jin Graves here, doing another Manga Vault video for you guys. It's number 2. We have seven left after this one. So anyway, let's get into it. I hope you guys are still enjoying this. So the first one I have in here is called Dot Hack Link. I think this one was better than the other Dot Hack manga that I've read. If you guys remember, the Dot Hack Twilight was in the first box we went into. And then we have this one, which is pretty weird, but it's called I Love Halloween. Pretty crazy series. This is one that I wanted to get, and it just kept getting weirder because I started looking at it when I was younger, and then I finally got to, and I was like, this is so weird. Hold off on that one because I think there's some more that go with that one. Then we have this one, which is a comedy one based off of Dot Hack. It's Dot Hack for Coma. This is like a 4-panel kind of joke book. Let's see. Then I have some one-shots here. Were ones that never got completed. So this is Dot Hack Alcor. It's pretty cool seeing the differences of all the dot hacks that I was getting. Then we have Orange Crows. This is a pretty good series. I like the idea how it was going, but unfortunately it didn't finish. Trying to see if there's any extra like little stragglers in here of different series. Alright, so then we have a couple more one-shots. We have The Witch of Artemis. Really great story. Started turning into like a weird isekai, but it never went that far. This is one of mine that I didn't do it, but I got it. If you guys can see that line across it. It's pretty weird because I got it and I was like, you know, what can make a line like that? So it must just have been a printing error. Then I have Nabi, the prototype. Then we have this one, which I would say is, if you haven't read it, this one's way underrated. This one is pretty good. This is a Shinshoku Kiss. Kind of about like a girl and a doll, or a doll maker, and then you find out that the guy actually makes them, and it kind of turns into a love story with part of them trying to take out like the master crafter or whatever it is, and move on from there. But it's just kind of crazy. Then we have this one. This is St. Lunatic High School. Love the series. This was very good. You know, and it's kind of weird how it all gets wrapped up into the 2 volumes, but they end it so great. I would consider this like a big Halloween series because it ends on Halloween. Everything on it, it's like in a Halloween world where it's vampires and all this other stuff. So let's see. This is one, I actually talked about this one recently, which is pretty funny that it's in this next box. This is how old shoujo used to be all the time, guys. Like, some of these you can tell were kind of shoujo because they're really cutesy. This is the ones from back in the day that I remember where all the characters kind of look close to the same. unless they were like really extravagantly done in a different way. You know, and really long and skinny. So this is I think there's another name that goes in front of this, but this one's just called Demon Flowers. I think the first part that goes with it is Kurui Zaki no Hana, and then it's Demon Flowers, or Demon Flowers Kurui no Hana. Yeah, right back there. You can just barely see it right there. So this is the first one. This one was really weird. But like I said, I really enjoyed reading all kinds of different manga because, you know, even if it hasn't completed, there's something that you can get out of it. This one was a great series too. Takaru, Opera Susano, Sword of the Devil. And it's these three guys get together. They're all named Takaru, and their stories kind of get a little weird. They keep like crossing over into each other's lives, and they have to figure out different stuff. One of them ends up kind of becoming like this weird, somewhat like demon captain of an army, and because he wanted to get stronger, and he was like the meekest, quietest one of the group, and they have to figure out how to get him out of it. And then the weirdest part is right at the end they just kind of split, and they're like, oh hey, bye Takaru. Bye Takaru. The third one, bye Takaru. You know, it's just kind of like they finished what they were doing and then they just left. So it was just kind of weird how that one unrolled or unfolded. This one, you guys may have seen this box set. I have it up there with my Pokemon box sets and Zelda box set and whatnot. But this is Princess Ai. Really good one. I really like this one. I actually remember when this one was being advertised. And I got it years later. And then after I got it, it was really weird because it got big again. But that one's kind of like as a music artist coming to the world, and then you find out she has like superpowers to sing or whatever. Then Samurai Champloo. Really like how they did the art for it. How Mugen and Jean are just completely different colored on there. Then we have ones based off of more video games. This was Castlevania. Who knew that Right Stuff back in the day printed so many volumes of stuff related to video games or based off of video games. Then we have this one, which is 0/6 or 06, depending on how you want to say it. Pretty sure it's supposed to be 0/6. And then I'll show you this real quick, guys. This one's different from the other ones. The number 1 is a bit different compared to the rest of them. So it's a little weird. This one, though, is kind of like a more raunchy Chobits, because she's supposed to be basically like a robot and take care of this kid, make sure he eats and everything, and he kind of falls in love with her at the end, and it's kind of like a, you know, can you really be with a robot or not kind of deal. Then we have this one. This one is one of the weirdest ones. I would consider this a horror-ish manga. This is Death Trance. The art on the covers is just phenomenal. But let me show you guys this here in a second. So, try and find you guys something that's not quite weird or whatever. I might have to go back to the first volume for that. Well, here's some mountains. This one shouldn't be too bad. But this whole book is done in like purple. The ink is purple. So I think it's kind of weird. When I started reading it, I was like, this is just a weird way of reading manga, because you know it's all purple, and some of the scenes seem a little weirder just because you don't have that usual black feel to it where you see it and it's a different contrast. Sometimes reading through it so fast, the purple seemed like it would just kind of like blend in as you're reading it. Oh, it's weird. Then we have this one. This is Tetragrammaton Labyrinth. This was a really good story too. This is one I actually I got a good amount of it from a friend whenever I read part of it, and so I got I think I got 1 through 4 from him, maybe 1 through 3. But this one is on, there's a little girl that's basically like, I think she's an angel but got cursed by a demon, and so she can't age, but she also learned, and there was another girl that grew up knowing of her, and they kind of gifted her to her and said, hey, this is your partner, you're gonna go basically like fight demons and whatnot. And the other girl had been like demonically possessed before, and so they had to figure it out. Well, then it became this whole because I love you, I can die kind of thing, and then they both kind of shared in the love, and trying to end this pact with the demon by giving up a soul. And I think they gave up part of each other's, and it actually took the human girl's soul, so now they have to live for each other, or they, I guess, die. I mean, it was really good. You know, there's gems in everything you can find. I think Tetragrammaton Labyrinth was pretty crazy. We have this one. I actually saw the anime for this, but it's still good. But this is Hitalia. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And these are like really thin, so compared to like an average one, this is average. And then this one is probably about the size of like a Tokyo Ghoul volume. So I don't really think there's a lot to say on that one though, just because I mean it's out there and it's pretty short to catch up on. This is another one. In the other box, you know, I got Sengoku Bizarra. I got this one to go with it because I love the video game series. I got one of them, which I have a little toy like posable action figure of it. It's not one of those real action figures because he doesn't move enough, but he poses a lot, so he's an action figure that you're not supposed to play with. But I played this, and then I wanted to get this for it because I played it, and the game was good. This, I think, gets based off the first one, and I played the second one, so it was a little weird going back and reading the first one and then not being able to play it because I couldn't find it anywhere since it was older. But this is Onimusha, Knight of Genesis. And I love the art in a bunch of these. Also, this is old ones printed by like one of my favorite companies, Udon Entertainment. Prints out a lot of good stuff. And this is kind of where some of my samurai stuff is, because we also have Samurai Legend in here. This is great. If you haven't picked it up, I highly recommend it. The art is phenomenal, and it's kind of like one of those pieces of history that is just kind of out there and you don't really know about them. I mean, not a lot of people read old stuff, So, let's see. Then we have this one. I was upset this one didn't continue on, because this was such a great series. But this is Chronicles of the Grim Peddler. The art for it is just phenomenal. There's a little red pill on the back. But with the Grim Peddler, what it's about is basically you have a guy that think about the Cheshire Cat, but he's not the Cheshire Cat, and he walks around making deals with people, and it's kind of like a let me offer you the Matrix pill, and it's supposed to help your life get better or something, and it does get better, but it does it by getting worse. You know, and then solving that problem to make it better. So, but yeah, it's really good. Him offering like fairy tale characters this pill to do stuff to get better, different things like that. So, it is a pretty good series to read. Then we have this one. This is Night School, the Wern books. And I thought this one was brilliantly put together. It's like three groups of people doing stuff at different times. There's like magicians and werewolves, and I think there's a group of vampires at one point. And they're all trying to do stuff on this same night, and then they all somehow get linked together while doing it. But it's really good. That one's probably more like Americanized. And then this was the last one that was in there. This is a Pilgrim Jaeger. And the art for this was just brilliant as well. Especially that. I just like that scene. But yeah, hopefully you like this episode of everything. And I'm going to put these back in the box. And I'll try and show them to you while I go doing that. I'll probably put them in like handfuls at a time. So, yeah. I mean, these are all really good ones. Night School. But yeah, I also think that it's kind of good having all these old ones, because there's other stuff that people haven't read. And some people, I mean, older people that read manga were probably into these at one time or another. And, I mean, these are just brilliant series. You know, one's based off of video games, one's based off of other anime, you know, a lot of different stuff. And I think a lot of people are actually missing out when it comes to certain manga and stuff like that, because they want to get caught up in the hype of what's out today. They don't want to buy like the old ones that they haven't really heard about or anything. And when you don't do that, it kind of leaves you empty. I would say reading a lot of manga, even on hiatus, and stuff, I could probably tell you the majority of when ones were destined to end at some point. I mean, you're reading all the time, basically, in the manga community here and there. She has both of these together. And, you know, you're doing that, you're getting through what we have now, but you're not experiencing what it could have grown off of. You know, there could have been a old one-shot series that nobody reads anymore or anything like that, and it'd be one that your favorite mangaka maybe has read and got an idea from. You know, that's another thing too. I feel like there are a lot of manga that are out there that people obviously haven't read, and when you go back and look at it, there's just so much stuff that you can actually look at with them, because here and there, reading that old manga, kind of lets you think about all the different ideas. You know, usually if you're liking somebody's idea or something like that, then it was or could have been previously like another manga. And you're not knowing if anything was taken from it, you know. There's so much that we have to read and figure out as manga readers and whatnot, of all the different ideas that can be out there. You know, there's some of these that I've read that seem like it's exactly an idea that could be in a new one, and it just never really went to like fruition because of how that manga was portrayed earlier. Never got big, never got famous, quote unquote, and then somebody else came along and kind of took the idea and changed it up. So I mean, there's a lot of different stuff here and there like that, so it's really good, like I said, reading some of the older manga and finding comparisons and how somebody can take one idea like Magical Girls or the Dot Hack series, and I mean even like Halloween or other certain things in that genre, and spinning it where all this stuff is the same in that genre. The stories you read are all the same, but putting a different tailspin on it. So I think that is fantastic, and that's why I like to read a lot, especially knowing knowing that there's so much stuff out there. You know, I really like buying old stuff as well, and knowing like, hey, this is a staple for what happened. You know, some of this manga, you know, if we could date it just right and all that, it can tell you like, this is because this company went under, or this is because of whatever, you know, and it's not just out there. So it's looking beyond the manga and seeing what else can come out of it. So anyway, guys, I will catch all of you later. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for another Manga Vault later on, and yeah, hopefully you guys will still enjoy this series. Anyway, I will catch you later. I'm Jen Graves. Bye.